we bring you the scene at the state funeral for former President Kim Young-sam, taking place at the National Assembly on Thursday under snowfall. The Islamic State has released a new propaganda video which included Korea among its target countries. And it's been confirmed that Volkswagen cheated on emissions tests for cars sold in Korea. The government has ordered a halt to sales and a recall for affected vehicles. Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Friday, November 27th. I'm Luke Clary. We begin with the state funeral for former President Kim Young-sam, which took place at the National Assembly on Thursday under snowfall. Follow us to the scene.
With snowflakes fluttering down, the vehicle carrying the late President Kim Young-sam enters the National Assembly. The first ever state funeral began with a moment of silence and proceeded in a solemn manner. Following a report of Kim's biography, Prime Minister Hwang Kyo-ahn, who headed the funeral organizing committee, gave a eulogy. In the speech, he pledged to continue on the late leader's accomplishments, noting that the president led change and reform and dedicated himself for the country. Kim's comrade in the nation's democratization and who was at the memorial altar site every day during the mourning period shed tears while reading his funeral address.
참으로 수고가 많으셨습니다. 정말 감사합니다.
Emotions of sympathy and condolences climaxed when a video was shown of Kim's earlier days.
가장 어둡고 괴로운 순간에도 이해 정치에 대한 믿음과 국회에 대한 애정을 버린 적이 없습니다.
Kim's son Hyun-chul, who was suppressing his grief, also burst into tears when his father's voice came out in recording. Following the laying of flowers and incense burning, Kim's favorite song, I Will Live in a Blue Mountain, was also played. Then, with the firing of 21 shots, the funeral procession left the National Assembly.
As the nation mourns the passing of former President Kim Young-sam, here are some notable scenes observed in the past 5 days from his death to funeral.
22일 0시 22분 서가하셨습니다.
A pillar of democracy who lived through the tumultuous years of Korea's modern history could not be revived again. Former Prime Minister Kim Jong-pil, one of the three Kims who along with Kim Young-sam and Kim Dae-jung had been a leading political figure, came immediately upon hearing the news to mourn the former president's passing.
신념의 지도자로서 될 뿐입니다.
Former First Lady Lee Hee-ho, wife of the late President Kim Dae-jung, offered heartfelt condolences to Kim Young-sam's widow, Son Myung-sun. In an act of harmony, several associates of the late President Kim Dae-jung also took part in the funeral committee. Former President Chun Doo-hwan, Kim's longtime political nemesis, also visited the memorial altar on the day before the funeral service. Ordinary citizens who had supported his struggle for democracy also came to the altar to mourn the loss.
편한 곳으로 가셔서 편히 쉬셨으면 좋겠습니다.
More than 37,000 people came to the altar to pay their last respects to the deceased president.
At working-level talks held at the border truce village of Panmunjom, South and North Korea have agreed to hold government talks in the North's border city of Kaesong on December 11th. The dialogue agenda will include the issues of separated families and resuming South Korean tours to the North's Mount Kumgang resort.
South and North Korean delegates met for working-level talks to arrange a meeting between the two governments. The contact comes 3 months after the two sides struck a landmark deal on August 25th. After 11 hours of grueling discussion, the two Koreas finally reached an agreement at nearly midnight on Thursday. The two sides will hold their first government-level meeting at the North's Kaesong Industrial Complex on December 11th. Vice minister level officials will head the delegation, and each side will form the group with a number of officials they find convenient.
앞으로 정부는 이번 합의 결과를 바탕으로 향후 개최될 당국회담을 차분하게 준비해서 남북관계를 실질적으로 진전시켜 나가겠습니다.
The agenda will reflect the stances of both sides and address concerns in cross-border relations across the board. In particular, talks are expected to focus on how to fundamentally resolve the issue of separated families and the resumption of a South Korean tour program to North Korea's Mount Kumgang resort.
The Islamic State released a new propaganda video which included Korea among its target countries. Meanwhile, the alarm was sounded in the Belgian capital of Brussels over an anthrax scare.
The Islamic State, in its attempt to spread fear, released a new propaganda video announcing plans to attack the United States and its ally nations. Korea was included in the list of 60 countries named as targets in the video. Meanwhile, an emergency response team was dispatched to a mosque in Brussels, Belgium, where an envelope containing white powder was discovered. The Grand Mosque, located about 200 meters from the EU headquarters, is the largest mosque in Brussels and houses an Islamic cultural center as well. Emergency detox measures were taken over the possibility of an anthrax attack, but the white powder turned out to be flour. Despite the anthrax scare, the Belgian Crisis Response Center downgraded the terrorism alert level for the Brussels region from the highest to the next level of serious. The lockdown measures are gradually being lifted, with the city's subway services being resumed and schools reopened on November 25th.
It's been confirmed that Volkswagen cheated on emission tests for cars sold in Korea, much like the German car maker did in the United States. The government has ordered a halt to sales and a recall of all Volkswagen cars affected by the fabricated test results.
An investigation has confirmed that Volkswagen's Tiguan SUV, Euro 5 diesel vehicle equipped with the EA189 engine, used a defeat device to fake emissions test results. The car maker, which earlier admitted to the emissions results rigging, has sold about 125,000 Tiguan vehicles in Korea.
지난해 9월 이전에 인증을 받은 차량에 대해서는 배출가스 저감 장치 조작을 확인을 했습니다.
In an indoor driving test that was repeated 5 times instead of the usual of 1 time, nitrogen oxide emission levels exceeded the standard in all tests except for the first one. The results were the same when the air conditioning was on or when the car was on expressway mode. The vehicle was manipulated to only pass the indoor emissions testing. The Environment Ministry has ordered a recall and suspension of unsold vehicles for 15 models that use the rigged engine in question, and also handed down fines amounting to over $12.2 million.
17 centers for creative economy and innovation have opened this year nationwide. They're assisting startup companies through various support programs. Here are some of their notable achievements showcased at Creative Korea 2015.
Penguins in virtual underwater surroundings swim and waddle about, just like in real life. This is a virtual underwater experience program enabled by augmented reality. Letters are typed on a computer screen simply by moving one's eyes. The embedded camera tracks eye movements on the keyboard to convert them into letters on the screen. 100 cameras take photos of a user, and a 3D printer compiles the images into lifelike figurines. Visitors can even ride on a driverless car, which recently carried out a successful driving test for the first time on actual roads.
체험 행사가 많아서 직접 체험해 보니까 더 빨리 느낄 수 있어서 좋았어요.
This year's Creative Korea event was attended by a large number of new startups, which turned their ideas into real products with assistance from the 17 centers for creative economy and innovation located nationwide. Featuring the slogan Connect Experience, Make Future, and celebrating its third year, the Creative Korea event is scheduled to run until November 29th.
An exhibition putting on display the world of 20th century Western art visionaries such as Pablo Picasso, Pete Mondrian, and Andy Warhol has opened in Korea. Take a look.
The nose, eyes, and mouth in this figure painting drawn with vivid colors are not where they're supposed to be. Pablo Picasso created this painting at the age of 88. It demonstrates the artist's unique style of expressing flat images in a three-dimensional way. This is a portrait of a man with severely distorted facial features. The works of Francis Bacon, who liked to portray distorted images of humans, are among the most expensive in the world.
진뭉개진 살이라든지 일그러진 형체를 통해서 인간의 실존에 대한 이야기를 작품을 통해 표현하고 있습니다.
From the artistic portrayal of urinals by Marcel Duchamp to the pop art of the prolific artist Andy Warhol, this exhibition brings together the works of 20 art geniuses who can be found in school textbooks. The exhibition was organized to mark the 50th anniversary of Korea's diplomatic ties with Venezuela.
Several idol groups are set to make a comeback this winter. Here's more from the world of culture.
Idol group EXO are soon to release a special winter album for their fans. It's the group's second winter special album since 2013. The first was entitled Miracles in December. EXO's agency, SM Entertainment, said the group is preparing to make a comeback in mid-December with songs befitting the year-end holiday atmosphere. Girls' Generation's mini-group TTS, comprising Taeyeon, Tiffany, and Soo-han, is also to make a comeback with a winter album entitled Dear Santa. All of TTS's songs released since 2012, such as Twinkle and Holler, have topped various music charts. The new album, which will contain Christmas carols, will be released on December 4th in Korean and English versions. Original musical The Two Love Stars, Kyonu and Jingyo, based on the Korean folktale Kyonu and Jingyo, has premiered at the Uijeongbu Arts Center. The musical features breakdancing, Korean traditional dance, and 3D imaging technologies without any spoken lines, so that foreign audiences can also enjoy the performance.
Barbecue is a favorite among Korean campers. Something that's hard to make at home, like smoked meat, can be tried out with a little more freedom when you're in the great outdoors camping. Here are some unlikely camping foods you can try that are both simple and delicious. This family, who's been camping for 9 years now, enjoys cooking one-dish meals at camping grounds.
우리 아이들이 제일 좋아하는 비어치킨을 한번 만들어 보려고요.
He seasons a whole chicken with salt and pepper and brushes on melted butter. Wingtips and drumstick ends are wrapped in aluminum foil to prevent them from burning. Then, beer is poured into a container in the middle of a holder. Put the chicken over the holder and place it on the grill. Put a box lined with foil over the chicken and bake for about 2 hours. While the chicken is cooking away, he makes other dishes. He spreads a thick layer of sugar on the pot bottom, lined with aluminum foil, and sprinkles some dried herbs. He coats salmon with olive oil and seasons them with salt and pepper. He then places a grill on top of the pot with sugar and herbs, and puts the salmon on the grill and covers it up. He lets the salmon cook in low heat for about 30 minutes for flavorful smoked salmon. The next menu item is super simple steamed clams, a perfect accompaniment to beer. The recipe calls for nothing more than some short neck clams, minced garlic, and chopped hot chili pepper. The dish is complete in just 10 minutes. Could it be any simpler?
아빠 한번 열어볼게. 자.
The beer can chicken is finally ready to eat.
아유.
맛있어.
The family digs into a scrumptious feast of camping food. What to do about the leftovers? Here's a great recipe for making use of your leftover camping food. If you have some salmon left over from smoking the night before, cut up the salmon in bite-sized pieces and stir-fry them. Then, make a sauce by boiling 2 cups of water, 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of sugar, and a slice of ginger. Add onion and green onion slices for more flavor and stir in some eggs at the end. Place the stir-fried salmon on the rice and pour the soy sauce mixture on top to enjoy a delicious salmon and rice dish. The experience of camping can be made even more enjoyable with these delicious and unlikely camping fares. And now we'll take a look at the markets, followed by the world weather. And that's it for this edition of News Today. Thanks so much for being with us. We'll see you again on Monday. Have a great weekend. Goodbye.